Sippers, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with me, Shane Todd. We got some real quick messages to do before we start the podcast. First of all, let me plug our Patreon, which is patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. We do a bonus episode on a Monday, live episode on a Friday, and as we come into the Euros, we're going to start streaming some games. What is it called, Dan? A watch-along? That's what the kids call it, a watch-along. We're going to be doing some of those. But before we start the podcast, we are very kindly sponsored by, first of all, Punjana tea. The Thompsons family have been knocking out tea since 1896. You know, it's not a phase. It's not just, you know, something they're getting into. These guys are really serious about tea. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Thompsons family taste their tea by mouth themselves. Which, you know, if I owned a tea company, I'd be getting somebody else to do it, definitely. But the Thompsons family will do it themselves. They go all around the world, source the best tea, and Punjana is literally just from here. Made in Belfast, from Belfast, but called Punjana. You know, you wouldn't necessarily expect it. Like, there was definitely a guy I used to go to school with, who had an uncle called Romario from East Belfast, you know, and it's like, that's just what it is, but you wouldn't have expected him with that name to be from there. Shout out to the Thompson family, 4th generation tea makers. You know Punjana is the #1 selling tea in Northern Ireland. Support it. That's the thing. There's no discount code or anything. I said, what do you want us to do for a call for action? They just said, let people know they got to drink Punjana tea. We're also sponsored by Expressvpn. Now, Expressvpn, I wasn't 100% sure about what it was. Dan is a long-time user of Expressvpn, so is Mike that works on the show. It basically hides your internet location, so you could be anywhere in the world, so you have access to a lot more online. Now, I'm very open about what I'm looking at online, so, you know, I haven't needed ExpressVPN up until this moment, but as I say, Dan and Mike have been long-time users of ExpressVPN.
For security reasons.
For security reasons, yeah, because at all costs, they want to hide where they are. What you do with ExpressVPN is you can get access to, like, say, Netflix anywhere. So you could get American Netflix, you can get Chinese Netflix, you can get French Netflix. You can watch stuff that you can't get here. Because it's like they don't give you everything here. You know, it's like the cinema back in the day. If like Flubber came out in the cinema in America, Robin Williams, 8 years later, it would come out here. ExpressVPN is compatible with phones, media consoles, smart TVs, all that kind of thing. And if you go to expressvpn.com/teawithme, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. expressvpn.com/teawithme. Let's get into this episode, guys. It's a guest episode. My guest, returning guest, is Leah McCourt. Did you enjoy the professionalism there of my reads?
Yeah.
I'm a corporate guy. Leah, thanks for coming back on the podcast.
You're welcome.
For the second time. You're just back from America. You jet lagged?
Yeah, and a wee bit concussed as well.
Aye. I forgot that you had a fight. See your mic, just like bring it with you.
Okay.
Follow it around.
Like a singer.
Yeah. I deal very badly with jet lag. Like really badly. Like it just makes me, you know, think of things I wouldn't have thought before. You know, I'm like, why am I so tired? What day is it?
Yeah, like makes you question life.
Yeah.
Like why
Why's no
am I
one ever
doing
really
this?
love me? You know what I mean? Like I get emotional when I get jet lagged. But then also having a fight as well. So how long were you in America for after your fight?
So I was in America for about 10 days after my fight. So I went from like 3 different time zones. I went from like New York, then to Vegas, which is completely different.
Yeah.
And then back again. So my body is like messed up and my head. It's like you come back and it's like, what just happened? It's like a whirlwind. It's like crazy.
And you also had like a major fight as well.
I'm in the middle of it all.
Yeah, that's not going to help. You had a fight from with Bellator.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with fights. I love watching fights. I love watching boxing, MMA, all that kind of thing. But I the times are just inconvenient for me.
Yeah, me too.
Like it doesn't. Like I thought your fight was going to be 10:30.
But my fight wasn't that late. It was at 12.
Yeah, but like back in the day, I maybe would have stayed up for like the odd like 4 a.m. fight.
Yeah.
But like even if you could have any influence on it, if all fights could like be like 9, half 9, I'd be delighted with that.
Yeah, or earlier. Like
I can't do 12.
Nobody trains at 12. Like you're not used to fighting that late at night. It's like, and then you have to wait the whole day. So when you normally can't sleep the night before the fight because you're so nervous. So you wake up at like 6, and then the whole day is like this. It's like this rabbit wheel of what the fuck am I doing this for? Why am I going into a cage to fight tonight?
Yeah.
Then you get confident, then you get excited, and then it's just like going round and round and round the whole day. It's just the most insane way to describe like fight day. So when you're on so late, it's like you've burnt out so much energy during the day thinking.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, going away to do it as well. Like you must have far less of an advantage from someone who like lives there, because it probably would take you months to actually get used to the time.
I know it's hard to know. It's hard to say. Like you try and sleep and get into your routine when you're there, but you're like cutting weight. You've got like the most horrendous week of like media weight cuts, and then you've got like fight day and fight night. So it's like a whirlwind. It's like it's so hard to actually describe how crazy that experience is and that fight week is.
Where does media come in like the worst parts of it?
It's like so destroying. It's like the same questions when you're literally depleted, you're nervous, and they're asking the most repetitive, annoying questions ever.
Yeah.
But obviously it's part of it, and it builds hype for the fight. But like when you do the day before the weigh-ins media, you're sitting there like, oh my god, like they're asking, like I'm like Google it if you want to find out it. Like I don't have the energy to speak.
Yeah, I saw the clip of Billy Joe Saunders, the boxer, who was interviewed by a Spanish guy and started just like saying very quickly, like under his breath, "Mate, your breath smells like shit." And I'm watching that being like, that's such bad etiquette. Like I hate that. I think that's so out of order. But then there's part of me that's like, well, you can only answer the same questions so many ways before you do start like doing something to amuse yourself or entertain yourself. Was there fans on it?
No, it was just TV only. So
how weird is that?
People say that, but if you think in your head backstage you're going out to fight someone in a cage, so you're not really thinking about the people around it. You're thinking about, oh my god, like that's your sole focus.
Yeah.
So when you walk out, you hear the fans and the energy, and they're all going crazy. But I'm kind of like in this weird zone where it's like you've got a job to do. Like you don't really take it in until maybe after the fight, or you watch things back and you realise.
Yeah, I mean, there's at least a dozen reasons as to why I could never be an elite fighter. Right? There's maybe. There's 10 to 15 reasons, and one of them is I have real bad focus problems. Like I have real short attention span.
Yeah, I do as well.
But if I was fighting in a cage and like I saw someone I vaguely knew in the audience, I'd clock them, and then I'd spend part of the fight being like, what's he doing? You know, I thought he was in McGabber. You know, I would easily be distracted.
Yeah.
I just think I would get, anything happened in the audience or like...
You think that, but if someone is trying to kill you, standing in front of you, you're probably going to think about that person.
Yeah. Have you ever seen someone like, has anything distracting happened outside of the cage during a fight?
No, not really, to be honest. It is pretty intense. I remember I fought in Vegas in 2016 at the World MMA Championships, and it was like part of UFC 200 fight week, so it was in the convention center.
Yeah.
And like there was like fans, was like UFC fighters, and then sitting around the cage, you could see, because it was like bright, so you could just see, and that was weird because it was really bright, and I could see like my dad sitting in the audience. That's it's definitely not good to see your dad in the audience. No.
Like, my dad came to see me at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival about 6 years ago, and it's supposed to be like the big deal. Like you go over there, and if you do well, it can like make your career. And one night, you can ask to know how many people are going to be at the show, or you can just walk out and find.
Do you notice them when you walk out? Like, I suppose you would.
I will,
because you're.
Yeah. I'll always focus.
Do you not see weird things happening in the crowds?
Yeah, and I'll focus on the person who's like, it can be going great, and there could be one person who just isn't arsed, and I will spend my whole time focusing on that person.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get you at some point, you know, like, oh yeah, I would be so easily distracted.
You keep looking at them to see if they're smiling.
So easily distracted. So I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I came out, I was like, I don't want to know how many people are there, and it was a Saturday night, so you always sold out. Everyone sold out on Saturday nights because people are just looking for a show to go to at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And I walk out, and it's just my dad and two American guys sitting there, like in a 70-seater. And I was only really looking at my dad. I'm halfway through the show, my dad's like on his phone. I was like, you're 33% of the audience, dickhead. And I was telling a story about me when I was younger. So he's like on his phone, and I was like, you can't text during the show. There's 3 people here. And he's like, no, I'm bringing up this photo, and it was about something I'd said earlier in the show. And he goes, he's not lying.
That's
Look.
such a dad thing.
Oh my god, so bad.
Is he your biggest fan?
Yeah, well, yes, and no. To the point where he came into the studio during the week to see it for the first time, and Dan and Mike, who's usually here, were here. And my dad walked in, he had a look around, he goes, lads, just want to say last week's podcast was shite. And then he told a very inappropriate story and walked out. Yeah, he's not afraid to
say it like it is.
He'll give credit where credit's due, but sometimes he's not afraid to say things that you shouldn't say.
That's like my mum. We were sitting in Ballyhack on Saturday night, and I took my mum out for dinner, and she's like she works in the you know, she's a good job. She works in the hospital, and she said she is the most she looks so proper and nice.
Yeah.
And so some fella walked past, and she was just sipping her wine. She goes, somebody missed leg day. I was like,
what a roast from Mrs. McCourt.
And then anybody online, anybody says, like, I rarely get people stabbing at me.
Yeah.
And if I do, they will feel her wrath.
Yeah.
She would go on and rip them to shreds.
Well,
but her profile has like no pictures.
Oh, that's the worst. You know they mean it.
It's just like, okay, Karen, like calls them Karens.
My dad wouldn't be able to use social media like that, like he's on it.
You're lucky.
But what he does is, so I very rarely look at comments. Like I never in detail
I never
look at
read
comments.
anything.
But my dad will tell me. He never tells me the good ones.
He
And he's like,
one bad
I
one.
see some fella was saying that last video, yeah. And I'm like, and then he'll tell me the thing, and I'm like, the whole point is I'm avoiding these comments, but he's ringing me at like 2 a.m.
That's exactly.
Some guy from Lurgan's called you a wanker here. I was like, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that. But yeah, having parents and stuff, like, I don't know, makes me a little bit more nervous.
Yeah.
I like to not know anybody in the crowd.
Yeah.
Especially when you see people you know, because sometimes, especially doing comedy, you're looking at them going, are you laughing because you're my mate, or are you laughing because you're enjoying this? And then if they don't laugh, you're like,
why not?
Fuck's your problem? Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose because you're literally looking out into the crowd, so you have to like see everybody. Is that not distracting though?
Not really. Because you get, I like to just see how people are enjoying it.
Oh, okay.
Get a read of the crowd. But I used to not be able to look at anyone, and I used to look straight ahead at the back of the room. But the more you look at people, like sometimes the more you look at people, the better.
Yeah.
Because then they feel like, oh, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
You know. But I want to ask you about the whole like celebrity boxing, that side of fighting now that's become a little bit more like accessible for people, where people like Jake Paul and Logan Paul are putting on fights, and then there's probably like loads of people you haven't heard of like doing it on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
So like, do you ever think that will happen? It's obviously happened so much with boxing now, but do you think with MMA that's going to happen, and would that be like very dangerous?
Like at the end of the day, all right, they're making these fights, but they're still getting in and fighting. Like people have to respect that they're actually getting into boxing. Your man got in with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Like that takes, no matter what you're getting, what money you're making, that is only we know what it feels like to be backstage, to be walking out to fight someone. So like I respect the fact that he's getting into fights. It would take a lot of training to do it for MMA, because it would be dangerous. There's a lot more ways to lose, and there's a lot more ways to win. I can't see it. I don't know.
Because I went to one MMA class in, I think it was like Lagan Valley Leisure Centre, and I was like rolling with people.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've been there, and I started going, you go with like everyone like once.
Yeah.
So you go around everyone, there's guys in the class, there's girls in the class. And I've never done it before, and I've just been shown a few basic moves, and all of a sudden I'm like, sort of throwing people around a wee tiny bit. I'm getting out of things, and I was like, this is class. And I'm not watching anyone else, I'm just thinking about myself. And I'm like, I'm picking this up really easy. And then I stopped for a second and watched them fighting other people, and I went, oh right. They were just like, when like there's a like kid playing football.
Yeah, they're just letting you move.
Oh, you've scored. It's going through my legs. That's exactly what they were doing with me.
And that's what some people have to realise when they go to like MMA and they're like rolling with black belts. They're like, yeah, I did well against him. It's like, no, he's literally like a dead fish, and you're letting you move.
Yeah, there was one guy I was like really like I was like trying to like get out of his mount, and I was like really out of breath, like really struggling.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me during, like, but just like making small talk, and I couldn't talk back, and it was annoying me so much that he's like, you know,
That is
he's
annoying.
like, some weather we're having at the minute. I'm like trying not to die. I'm like, yeah, hopefully changes later in the week. I hate it. I don't. Like, unless I'm really good at something at the start, I don't.
A lot of
doing
people
it.
find that, and a lot of
Yeah.
people come in from other sports or other martial arts. Say like a boxer comes into the
I wasn't coming from any other martial art though.
but like a boxer comes into the jiu-jitsu class, and
Yeah.
they could be a really elite level boxer, and they're used to winning sparring, and they're getting absolutely smashed in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like you need to have that, like mentality that you're going to get smashed at training. It's like
Yeah.
I lose most rounds in training.
Right.
Do you know what it's like? It's different than just doing one singular martial art, because you could be really good at one thing but not so good at another thing, and that's what makes it so addictive and so like you want to keep getting better at everything.
Would you do it? Like, would you do like a, just for the crack? Would you do like a celebrity type fight? Like, would you fight like, I don't know, like Katie Price or someone? Or...
If I was getting paid what they were getting paid, I'd
You
fight
would?
with Granny.
But would you? Do you think you'd struggle to like? Because you know there was definitely that moment where Floyd Mayweather like fully knocked out Logan Paul and then got underneath him and was like, "You're all right, mate," and then during the fight
It's
like
okay.
helped him back up.
Yeah.
Like, would you struggle to put on a wee bit of a show, or would you? Just
I'd
not
say
push
Kitty
him?
could scrap. Kitty.
Oh, Pricey? Oh, no doubt. Oh, I don't know who the favourite is
She
there.
would be hard work. She would be a handful.
And Pricey would not play by the rules at all. Like,
She'd be pulling hair.
after the bell, she'd be punching and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, look, if I fought Katie Price, I would not win that fight.
No.
Like, because, yeah, celebrity boxing's huge. I think they'll do it. Like, we've talked about it in the podcast before. Like, I'm sure there will be, like, a local boxing event where, like, people who aren't boxers, like, take part. My attitude is, like, I would do it, but if I know that I beat the person that I'm fighting.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I would get in there. I would hate that, just to get in with someone that would beat me.
I know. Yeah, no. I think, I don't know, like people, I think boxing is more likely to happen more often than MMA.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know what promotion or where they would put, like who would do that. And I think whenever like a celebrity tried to do MMA and they thought it was just for,
Yeah.
they would soon realise that.
Like Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather's like me fighting Paddy Barnes
You should set that up.
on the roof of Castle Court.
Oh.
Yeah, that, I mean, Paddy's fighting a comedian guy, former Michael, from down south, like comedy character.
In a wheelchair? is
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Oh.
and the guy's like the guy. Because at first I saw it and I was like, why Paddy fighting a guy in a wheelchair? They're both going to be in wheelchairs.
Okay.
But there's an undercard, and someone like
Get
tagged
on
me.
it.
Well, no, because there's like this Dublin guy who makes videos, and they were like, he's looking for an opponent. A few people tagged me, and then I went, yes, could be a bit of fun. Went into his profile, looked at his sort of, his frame, and then I was like, no. But then again, if it's a comedy thing,
Yeah.
do you sort of like really train like intensely for it? And then if you get knocked out early doors, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
comedy though,
Yeah.
But I think I would really want to win.
Yeah, you should do it.
Like I would fight one of the wheelchair guys, but on the stipulation
Yeah,
that
you
I
get
would not be in a wheelchair. I think I would do that. But yeah, do you think that'll last? Do you think this is like a celebrity boxing, that kind
Probably.
of thing? You think it'll be a thing?
I think people will just keep wanting to do it, yeah.
Do you watch a fight?
No.
I didn't.
I
and
just
that's-
knew. I think Mayweather could have finished him in the first round, but just didn't.
That's the thing, and it's also
He's
scary.
he's so smart. He's so intelligent. Like
Yeah.
how but I don't know if the whole pre-fight him stealing the hat and all and Mayweather getting so angry was real or not.
Part of me thought that was set up, and then I looked at Floyd Mayweather's hair under the hat, and I was like, "There's no way he'd agree to be photographed like that."
Like who steals someone's hat like they're in P2?
Like when I wake up every morning, right? I have bed head, but because my hair's has always been quite fine,
Yeah.
it like sticks up drastically, like a few bits at the back, and I wouldn't leave the house like that.
Yeah.
So if I was in some sort of like celebrity boxing feud thing, and they went, listen, we're gonna set you up a fight after this, so we're gonna have a bit of orgy-borgy, someone's gonna take your hat off, you have bed head and all, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, you'd have it preened to perfection.
If there were like 30 million here, you have to look like you didn't expect it. No
yeah,
deal.
his hair was bad, wasn't it?
It was really like he looked terrible.
My favourite thing is when 50 Cent rips him to shreds on his Instagram.
Yeah, their feud's
So
class.
good.
But also it's funny how like nicking someone's hat off their head continues after primary school as like a real fucking bad insult.
It was such like a YouTuber thing to do, like
Yeah.
steal his hat.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think like I think that is the scary thing, that the Paul brothers are obviously like talented boxers. Like they obviously have like a skill in
Yeah.
it, but they can train so long, probably with the best people money can buy,
Exactly.
and still look so bad.
Yeah.
It just shows you how good fighters are, though. You know what I mean? That like they do all this training, all the promo videos.
Yeah.
You hear people being like, they're actually quite good, and I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But then when you put them in the ring, it's just big haymaker. Like
Yeah.
everything goes out the window. That's
Yeah.
probably like white collar boxing.
Oh
You
my
train
goodness.
and then you hear a crowd
And it just go
and
wild.
someone shout, "Fucking get him!" and you're like, you just lose it.
It's yeah, white collar is funny to watch. They just go in and swing.
Yeah, and there's always like big mismatches in white
Mhm.
collar boxing as well. I in the Europa,
Yeah.
just people coked out watching
Anyone?
it. Yeah.
Who wants to fight?
Did you get a tattoo? You get a new tattoo?
I actually got one last night. Yeah.
Do you get tattoos based on like, say like you want to fight or something?
No,
No?
it's just my sister's boyfriend is a tattoo artist. I was like,
Just
what do
giving
you
them
want to
the-
do tonight? I was like,
Oh, not unplanned.
a wee bit unplanned, yeah.
I want to get a second one, but I don't know what I want to get.
See, I've wanted this for like 3 years. I just didn't. Oh,
That's
I
right.
just didn't get round to it.
Right.
It was
What
like,
is it?
oh. It's a tiger. It's
Tiger?
a tiger, yeah.
Like a Joe Exotic tribute.
Yeah, Tiger Queen.
I don't know. I'd love to get a second one, but
What one do you have?
I lost a bet and had to get. Do you know Dave Elliott, my friend?
Yeah.
Me and Dave were doing a radio show, and we had like a quiz every week, and the loser at the end of the 10 weeks had to get a tattoo picked by the winner.
Amazing.
So if I lost, if he lost, I was going to get him to get my dad's face, a portrait tattooed on his arm.
That's like that's not a small tattoo. That's like a
No.
day sitting.
Yeah. Oh, like detailed, like Willie G was doing. I don't know if you know Willie, like so good. But I lost, and I had to get on like the back of my leg. It's massive. I had to get the Todd Father.
What?
The Todd Father,
What's
which
that?
is something I've never called myself. So I'm
Oh, the God.
yeah, I'm godfather to Dave's daughter.
Oh my goodness.
So it's that with like her date of birth inside it.
Wow.
It's
Was it
actually
sore?
a cool tattoo. Yeah, it was so
I
bad.
was screaming last night.
It was
see when
so
he
bad.
see when he started it. I was going to say I might actually have to say, listen, stop doing this. 'Cause-
Yeah.
And then I was actually I kept taking big. I was like, this is worse than childbirth, and it was like it took so long, and I was being so
Is he
dramatic.
qualified? Was he doing it right?
Do you know what it was? I did a sunbed the day before, and I'm really burnt.
Right.
And I think that made it 100 times worse.
Right.
And I actually was like, this is horrendous.
Yeah, I was thinking about tapping out at one point and just having the Todd on my leg and just leaving it, you know, because like all the rest of the letters it was so bad. But it's massive, and I love it because
Yeah.
like people were like, oh, you'll regret it, because it was like a bet. But it always makes me laugh that I'm like, I have this for life based
So
on a silly
funny.
bet that I made with my mate.
Oh,
People were saying after your fight, like I noticed on Twitter, people saying like, you know, would you do like, do you want to do like a big Belfast show? Is that something you aspire to do? Is that like what you love?
like so Bellator, obviously they run shows in different countries, and it's like they had the whole Bellator Europe thing happening, but now
Yeah.
because of coronavirus has ruined everything in the world. Like it's hard. Like I don't know the logistics of they're going to do shows in Belfast or in London and Dublin, blah blah. But it's like, yeah, like I want to bring Bellator to Belfast and have a big.
People would love it. Like.
Yeah, and I was like at Windsor as well. I was thinking like it would be really cool to do.
Yeah.
One day, like I know it's whatever, like maybe a bit further down my career, and I always walk out to Blinded by Your Grace by Stormzy, so I need to get him to come and do that as well.
If he doesn't, can I do it?
Yeah,
I'll do Blinded by Your Grace by Stormzy.
I would love that.
That would be so good.
Yeah,
I was chatting to Carl.
you're a really good singer.
I know. And here's the thing as well.
Like you should be pursuing that instead of.
I know. Yeah, I know. I've been told that so much. Imagine me doing Blinded by Your Grace and then like going into like not being afraid of the rap.
Yeah.
You know, people are
Or
like,
going
he's
to
just
like
gonna
shut
sing.
up, Stormzy, like Blinded by Your Grace,
Oh.
and then shut up.
And I'll remix, like, because remember Stormzy did Anthony Joshua? And
Yeah.
he changed the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, like saying AJ and stuff. Like,
You could say yeah.
I 100% would do it.
Freestyle?
It doesn't have to be Blinded by, it could be like, it could just be like a
You
nice
could just
song.
sing. Yeah.
Flying Without Wings or something. Imagine we did that, and then like we just didn't make it seem like a joke at all, and I just like really went for it. People were like, that'll be really funny. I'm like, no, there's nothing funny about it.
Yeah, this is real.
I'm blinded by your green.
That's nice.
With a choir behind me, you know. Yeah, I would love that. I mean, the SSE or Windsor like that would be class. Like also having a home crowd like that in a fight would just be like so much extra.
I know.
Extra power.
I know.
But that is the one where you'd see people you knew in the audience and it would put you off.
That definitely would.
All the local celebs in the like ringside front row. Pamela Ballantyne like shades on, a fur jacket.
I'm going on her show on Thursday actually.
You going to what?
I'm going on her show on Thursday. Or like...
Oh right, yeah. Because for a sec, like that makes total sense. But for a second, I was like, "What do you mean? Is she running like a fight show or something?" Then I realised you meant like.
No, it's her job.
Yeah. Well, fighting. I would love that. Just like because you
Belfast celebrities around the cage. That'd be hilarious.
Because like Madison Square Garden, you've got like Leo DiCaprio in the front
Jay-Z.
row. All these people. You got Frostbit boy, sunglasses on the front row. All the influencers loving it.
Oh yeah, in the car parks or
the
Odyssey.
Yeah, I think the best thing about being an influencer is just like sitting on a private plane at Belfast City Airport and then just going back home.
Like literally going and getting a photo in a private plane and getting a taxi home. Getting the bus home.
Getting the value cab home. Yeah, being on the Translink on the way down. What are you at today? I'm heading down to Belfast City Airport, bouncing on a private jet. Class, where are you going?
Nowhere.
Oh man.
I wonder, do they have to pay to do that? Like, is there like do they have to like, is there like a website where you just, if you want to sit in a private plane, you can
I can
book and pay and go and do it?
Yeah, I mean the best thing to do would probably just be like buy this seat and then you could have it anywhere and you just keep it at home. It is mad, like, isn't it? Like that whole.
It's crazy.
Influencer world.
It's like, it's. I was talking about it something the other day. Like, my daughter is never going to be allowed social media. Like, she's never going to be allowed in anything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, sheltered life, and like.
But then again, like we all kind of do social media stuff. It's so necessary for my job, for your job, and that kind of thing. But do you have would you like to just have someone do all that? Do you like doing all this kind of stuff? Or would you just want someone to just do it for you?
No, I'd rather have someone do it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's just like, because you have to be constant, otherwise it's like you don't pick up traction. It's like,
hey guys, just jumping on here.
Yeah. Hey guys, just popping on.
Just jumping on's probably my favourite.
See, I can't talk into the camera. I literally make myself cringe looking at myself, so I can't do it.
Because you don't want to see someone you know or get seen doing it. You know what I mean? Because
but just because I'm not good at it either. Like, some people can do it, or they're funny, or like they can get people interested, where they'd be like, shut up, what's she talking about?
I was
no one cares what you're doing, Leah.
Belfast International Airport last week, and this Asian guy just walked through, big puffer jacket on, sunglasses, selfie stick, phone, and my man just started vlogging. And if that was in the airport in London or New York or LA, nobody would bat an eyelid.
No, but you're in Belfast,
but everybody was like, mate, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, Belfast International Airport.
Worst airport in the world.
Vlog. No, he was loving it.
Oh, was he?
He's like W.H. Smith boots.
Costa.
All that. He was the guy was buzzing. But I don't think I could. I can't do that as me, but then I could film a sketch.
Yeah.
Last time I was in New York, I wanted to film a sketch of a DUP politician in New York, and I went and bought a GoPro, the top of the range GoPro, kept the receipt, went round, filmed all day, bought an SD card in
and give it back.
Target.
Such a good idea.
Filmed the whole thing, and then that started getting me thinking I could start buying real expensive cameras, making videos, spend a weekend somewhere, and then just take them back.
What a great idea!
And but I didn't care doing it.
Yeah.
When I was giving it back, part of me was like, am I going to feel bad doing this? But
No.
I didn't care. It gave me a big thrill.
That's
but
so
I could
funny.
walk about Times Square filming myself. But then because everyone's doing it.
But the best one was we were in my friend was fighting in Vegas, and fight day we went into the aquarium in the hotel. and everybody was obviously filming themselves, doing their Instagram, blah blah blah, and there was this Chinese guy. I don't know if you've seen it on my Instagram, holding a doll.
No.
With like, she had quite big breasts and was in like a
Life size?
mini skirt. No, like it was maybe about that size, and he was like holding the doll, and had the camera behind her, as if like he was taking photos of his girlfriend, looking into the aquarium, and we all were like looking at him like. And then he just kept taking photos of like, so you could just see the back of the head, so it looked like a person. And he was like, looked really friendly. So we said, hello, what's her name? And he said, oh hi. And then he was like, her name's Kia. And he was like, she really likes the fish. And I was like, is this real life? Is this really happening? And so obviously we were all standing around, and I had like my phone in my face because he was telling us about what they were doing in Vegas, like which fish. And I was and then I said, what's your favourite fish? Actually, there were tears in my eyes, and he was telling us all about her favourite fish was tuna, and she liked sushi. And I think about this every day since it's happened. I'm like, this lovely, nice man had this doll that he must have thought was his girlfriend, I don't know, or his friend.
Yeah.
And then the boys were like, are they real? I was like, can you stop it? Like, it just was going on and on. And like, I have the videos.
Imagine if it was like, that was the only thing you admitted was fake. I'll be honest. Her tits aren't real. That's the only thing that's weird about this.
And he was so confident in public to be doing this. So
Yeah,
this doll, that was like, I know it was funny, but it was also like, what is going on in your head to think that that's normal?
It's also mad that there's an aquarium in the hotel. Like, I know a guy that works in the Travel Lodge in Belfast around Bedford Street, and he just keeps a couple of goldfish in one of the rooms you can go into and see if you want. But
no, these were like sharks and alligators. Yeah.
Like, how much do people from here, when they're in like Vegas hotels, myself included, just walk about being like, there's shops in the hotel. I can't believe this. Like, people just walk out, I can't believe this. And like, all the casinos are linked.
Yeah,
as well.
You just walk it. It's just like a big casino maze.
Nuts. I like Vegas, but like in short doses.
Yeah, everything is like, there's just excess of everything.
See, I went over for the Frampton fight a few years ago to Vegas, me and a couple of mates, and it was my friend's birthday, and we're like, do you know what? Let's be the guys that like wear suits to a fight. Because like, I would slabber at anyone who does that and laugh, but I was like, you know what, we're going to Vegas, so let's look great going to the fight. So we did, and we're wearing like,
it feels so important in your suit,
blazer, shirt, you know, just real dress. I look like the sort of guy that was like doing the door at an under 18 disco, and we're feeling good. It was my mate's birthday, and you know, you can drink anywhere in Vegas, like on the street and stuff. So we were just drinking from like morning, just because we're like, it's Vegas, we're here for the fight, and pretty oiled going into the fight. And Ruth Gorman from UTV was there, and she was making like a special report from Vegas on the fight. And I walked past, and like, me and my mate John are blitzed, and Ruth Gorman's like, here, do you just want to jump on and do a quick interview? And I was like, no. I was like, I can't. I said, I'm really drunk and I don't know what I'm going to say, and I'll embarrass myself. And I was that drunk that I was still arguing, but then the camera was recording, and I was in the middle answering questions. And she was like, what do you think of, you know, Carl Frampton? And you ever be like, find yourself having an out of body experience where you're looking at yourself doing something and go, don't do this? And I was like bright red, like my face, because it was like blocked too. And it was, if like the interview went out on TV, you can tell I'm drunk. I'm holding on to a railing. You know, like in Vegas, there's like bridges across the roads up off the street. I'm like holding on to one, like a dad in a jacuzzi, right? I'm like holding myself up, and I start talking about, you know, I said something like, Carl's really good for sectarianism. And then I'm like, oh no, that doesn't sound right. And I'm like backtracking. I'm like, I couldn't say the word ambassador. I was like, he's an ambassador. He's an ambassador for Northern Ireland. And then my mate John starts talking, and I forget I'm still on camera. And I'm like sweating at this point and doing this really weird smile at him. And I said after, I was like, here, don't put that out. And then like the day after the fight, I think my mum or dad like sent me the recording. And they're like, you're enjoying yourself? So bad.
That's the worst. Bad. Oh my goodness.
But we just could do that because it was Vegas. Then we got dressed up and watched the fight.
Yeah.
And it was class.
I know.
It was like, I think people from here that are like into fighting in that they're like the best kind of fans because they treat it like almost like a football match.
It's
They're
unreal.
like they're that vocal and that kind of thing. Have you noticed, like, obviously, like at the minute because of COVID and stuff, people can't, but like that support base is like building. Like I definitely saw that with your fight, the amount of people who were like talking about watching it.
Yeah.
Or like tuned in to watch it.
Yeah, and you know, ever since like obviously like Dublin last year, like
Yeah.
because I just think Irish fans are the best in general, no matter where, Belfast or Dublin. I've been everywhere in the world, and even like the staff that work for Bellator, like do the media or the TV production and all, they say like there's nowhere like Ireland. Like they've been to like Brazil. They said Ireland and Brazil, they're the craziest fans.
Right.
And I think more people understand MMA and like how actually difficult it is and how like hard it is to get to high
We
level.
love fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we'll love a fight, so we're interested in it. And yeah, I think that you can definitely see like more people, and I think like boxing was like the only thing here.
Yeah.
And now people are like so interested also in MMA.
Yeah, it's really good.
Um,
I actually yesterday was like 7 years since my first ever MMA fight, and it was in the Ulster Hall in Belfast. I was like really iconic that my first fight was there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people fighting in like smaller venues and like build up experience behind closed doors, whereas I got to fight in like
and stuff, like
right the back of Castle Court.
Yeah.
Castle Street.
Castle. Oh, don't get me wrong. If you want fights and there's no like UFC on, no Bellator on,
Castle Street.
Castle Street.
What
I used to go to
what
Tech.
a street.
I used to go to Tech in Millfield. Like
So did I.
Oh, did you? And
Every
did
day.
you always have to walk through
Every
Castle
day.
Street? Oh my god! Like
that could be a TV show on its own. Like who wants to watch any other reality
just
TV?
stream Castle
Just
Street.
live stream all day.
There was like you'd see these pop-up shops. You know, like all the shops were like no shop just sold like one thing.
Yeah,
like it'd be like a
everything.
chemist that does carpets.
And sells Halloween costumes as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Sells Halloween costumes in like, you know, during the summer. You know, well, masks. You know what I mean? Like definitely knitted masks. But yeah, Castle Street was there's 28 bakeries on Castle Street, which I loved. I used to get an iced finger all the time in this bakery in Castle Street, and also sausage roll baps. There was one just before you get to Millfield. Going to Millfield was wild. I loved Belfast.
I went with, I know you're friends with Craig Gilroy, his sister. We're best friends, Caitlin.
Okay.
So Caitlin's obviously from Bangor and I'm from Samefield, and we went to Millfield, and our class was
Start of a sitcom.
like we came
She's from Bangor, I'm from
we went
Samefield.
we went to Methody and got a dose of real life. We went to Millfield. Like I remember we were walking down Castle Street one day, and there was a woman bent down shitting on the floor at 10 o'clock in the morning. Just
And she was your lecturer.
like we used to sometimes talk about it, just like don't talk about it anymore, bring back memories. Like it's back at the back of our heads. Like I was like, did we really do that for 2 years? Like
Yeah, Methody.
One
like,
experience.
people arriving in Mercs, Belfast Met, stunt nuts of a BMX.
I mean, Caitlin were always the butt of every joke in the class. Like we had the best class. We were all best mates, but like they made fun of us every day.
Yeah, Belfast Met was like I loved it. I thought it was like a brilliant
So
environment.
good.
Did you leave school in 5th year?
Yeah.
So I think I loved it and being like, oh,
Free.
why am I? You know, I didn't have to dress like a businessman.
Yeah.
You know, like the shirt and tie. I mean, I kept wearing a shirt and tie, but I didn't have to. You know, which was the thing. I loved it, but Castle Street is just. It's one of those places where there's so many like alleyways and like streets off it.
Yeah.
That anytime you look down one of those,
Something's
there
happening.
was something
That's
happening.
where we seen the woman doing the shit on the floor. We just glanced down.
Yeah.
Seen her.
Castle Street. I mean, those sort of. That's like, you know, Belfast is a modern city, and there's always like new development and investment, and this thing's happening and that thing's happening, but one thing is always going to stay the same, and that is Castle Street.
It's like
Don't dare change Castle Street.
never
change.
It's amazing.
Like any fight that people record, which I actually like,
It's on Castle
I hate,
Street.
but they're always on Castle
I know.
Street.
I really hate that as well. I know some people, like my friends, like love watching like gypsy fights. I was like, I hate watching fighting.
Yeah.
I don't mind obviously professional fighting, but I hate like street fighting.
Yeah. I used to do quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. But I had to stop because it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, I was.
You were hurting people.
Yeah, I'm like the Northern Irish Kimbo Slice. Yeah, I'm weirded out by like fight videos and stuff. People probably think because you do MMA, you're a fighter. They're like, you love that, but it's like
No.
that's not what.
No.
That's not anywhere near
It's
the
so
same
not
thing.
nice.
And there's
it's
probably
like,
people who like are so good in those sort of fights and like scraps and stuff that think they could just do that, but like it's just a totally different
I know,
thing.
it's just so different, and people unless you do it or you train in MMA, you don't understand like
Yeah,
how
it's
how
like
different
a
it
wee
is.
bit with stand up, like people who are like, my mates think I'm hilarious,
Mhm.
and they're like people who are like naturally very funny in like a group night out or something, and then they try stand up and they're
Totally,
like,
I can imagine that as
this
I
is
can imagine
so
that's one of the hardest things to actually you can make people laugh just having the chat, but like your job is to get up and you have to make them laugh, otherwise it's gonna be so awkward.
yeah, but at the same time, like no one's gonna like punch me in the head doing it.
That's
Hopefully,
true.
so like it is a bit
True.
easier in that way. You know, like it's funny how much respect people give stand up.
Yeah.
Because anyone who does stand up's like, no, I'm just like telling jokes, but like there is like, it is mental to just get up and be like, I'm really funny and here's
You're
why.
gonna laugh at me,
Yeah,
yeah.
and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I did my first gig back on last Sunday,
Uh-huh.
and it's just surreal to be doing it
Was
again.
it so nice being
Just being in that environment, like being backstage,
so nice, isn't it?
doing a sound
I
check,
thought
all
that as well. It's like just this is like you appreciate it more.
Yeah, and even when it wasn't work, so I did like 40 minutes of new material. You have no idea if any of that's going to work. Like none of it could work, and some of it worked, and some of it didn't. But even when it didn't work, I was like, it's so nice to be not getting laughs, but being on stage
just
anyway.
being here.
Yeah,
Because it does seem like things are, I hate saying this, back to normal a wee bit.
yeah. Could you do stand up? Say there was like a show. Say it was called, I'm trying to think of a name for it, like fighter to
No, I definitely
comedy.
couldn't.
That's the worst title.
No, but I know what you're trying to
ever
say,
for a
like
show.
the way like it's crossover. I could never do that.
Yeah, because I think I could do Bellator, but it would have to be at the right.
Yeah,
Weight class.
you just need a couple of months. and
Yeah.
you could do it.
I would get knocked out so quickly in any sort of
You
fight.
always think that you might have more in you than you think.
No, you say this, I'll enroll for some sort of competition. I don't know. I think I could potentially take a punch just from like playing football. Like I got elbowed last Thursday playing football, like a bad one. I'm aware that's different to a fight. But what I mean is, I think I could probably take it a wee bit, but I don't think that I would be good at punching.
But if you're in that scenario, this like
But
like Mike Tyson might
I think
come out of
I'd be
you.
more catty. I'd be saying, someone hit me, I go, no. I'd be more like that, like trying to scratch.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm meant to fight. Just in general, like I just don't think that's for me.
You could try it.
Yeah. What's like the best way to try it without there being any danger on me?
Probably just go to a class and do a couple of weeks, and then go to the sparring class.
Like if I
The
did an
sparring
underage
class, like beginners.
what if I go to like an under 12s?
Yeah.
That would be class. I
Or
would
under
love to do that.
16s maybe.
Yeah, 100%. If I went to an under 60s
Females,
class, they'd
ladies
punch
only.
the fuck out of it. Exact. Still, they would knock me out. Do you think like when you're like sparring or like rolling and stuff, like would most of your partners be guys mainly?
All of them.
Yeah, and is that a conscious decision or is that just because?
No, it's just because there's no other female MMA fighters. So I just get like battered most rounds.
Yeah. And do you does this equate in any way? Whenever I was like younger, like playing football, like when I started playing men's football, when I was like 15, if someone like kicked the ball and it hit your face by accident or something and you weren't really hurt, guys would be like, mate, are you okay? You okay? I hated that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, I'm playing this game with you, so anything that like, you wouldn't do that to like an older guy. And I get that they were being nice, but like when you were first doing that or anything, was that a thing where people like worried about like hurting you and stuff, and did that annoy you, or has it always been like everyone's equal here?
They've never really been like that with me, no. They usually just don't care. That's probably because I'm a fighter as well. They're like, it's just Leah. They're probably just like I'm one of the boys from the gym.
Yeah.
You know? And it's probably because I don't know, but no, I wish they were more like that.
Is it like say since we've done the podcast last, which was probably like a year ago, has like MMA here like has it jumped in that year?
Well, because
think-
we've obviously been in lockdown.
Yeah.
And a lot of the gyms, you can only train if you're a professional athlete. So
Right.
it's hard, and a lot of people I'm sure want to train, and I have a lot of anger from COVID, so they
Yeah.
probably will jump up
Yeah.
in the next couple of months.
What's the next thing you're gonna do?
So I would like to be active this year. I just have to wait and see when Bellator can get me another fights. They obviously have their shows, their schedules in America, and I've asked to get it back on in August or September.
I was gonna ask, is it like projected? Is there like a plan? Like, will they say to you, like, you know, we think you should fight this person, and then if that goes well, you fight
No.
this person? No, it's like
It really
fight by
is,
fight.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's really like the opportunities aren't guaranteed, and you just have to go out and perform well. So people want to watch a fight and they want to put you on the show again.
Have you got a rivalry with anyone yet? Like, is there anyone like you thought that you might fight again and stuff?
Not really, to be honest.
And see, when you're doing like, you know, the press conferences about your opponent, has anyone been a dick? Like, have you ever like
Well, my last
really
opponent was
got
like,
thick?
I'm gonna knock her out in the second round.
You said that, or she said
No,
that?
she said that, and she was like, I've never been submitted. So
Oh,
I was like,
It's
okay,
proof.
yeah, you have now.
Nice. And normally before that, was it all like quite friendly?
It's not really ever friendly. I just don't really care
Engage.
much about them.
Yeah.
I just like, yeah, like obviously if somebody said something, like I still wouldn't even. I'm just like I have so much drama in my real life. Like if somebody says something, I'm gonna be like,
That's such
Alright.
a Northern Ireland thing.
yeah, like okay.
Yeah, like, because we slabber, you know, slabbering
Yeah.
is like a thing here. That's a
It's
bit
just
like,
like normal if somebody was gonna say
yeah.
something.
Who was that guy that was fighting Frampton, and he was like, "You're from this guy's from Tigers Bay, born with a silver spoon in his mouth," like that. Like, it doesn't work.
I know, it's like no matter what they say, like your mum's probably saying something
Yeah.
worse to you.
Your granny has said like a lot more to you than this
Definitely.
person ever has. Yeah, because I'm fascinated by that, to know like how much of it
I
is.
know the boys like obviously do it because you want to make yourself marketable and you want to make
Yeah.
yourself interesting.
Yeah.
And I think I have enough like unique selling points. That the fact I'm a female and all the rest of it, I don't need to put on an act or be
Yeah.
this like mouthy person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can see why the guys do it to create interest, because there's a lot more guys fighting and they want to kind of
Yeah.
you know get noticed, if you know what I mean.
Say like we fast forward like 15, 20 years, big like movie company comes to you and say like, look, we want to make a movie on your life. Who would you want to play you?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Somebody crazy. Who do you think should?
I'd say
Somebody from Belfast or?
Yeah, I'd say or someone from Belfast. Well, I can't think of that. Like, we're just saying actor from Belfast. All I'm thinking is Jimmy Nesbitt. Just because like he's the first
With
actor
long
from
hair,
here. I'm
or
thinking
Liam
of.
Neeson. Yeah.
Yeah, Liam Neeson and Jimmy Nesbitt in a female MMA movie. What actresses come from here? I don't know.
Not
I think in a movie about my life, it would be. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Ah, okay. I was going to say Cersei from Game of Thrones. She's like the dragon. No, not the Dragon Queen. She was like the queen. Did you watch Game of Thrones? Though?
So a girl would play you?
Yeah. Just like she was my exact like body shape and size and attitude in a way as well. She's just like really spiteful and like.
Is
she's-
Game of Thrones good? I've never seen it.
Yeah, it is. It's like undeniably good.
Oh,
Because
really?
it's like, yeah, but then
Do you need to start at like the first series or season?
yeah, 100%. Also, you travel a lot. You do training camps. I imagine you watch a lot of stuff like maybe on the go, like on
Yeah.
your phone, or no, you can't do that with Game
Oh,
of
right,
Thrones.
okay.
You gotta sit, like give it the attention it deserves. It's one of those sort of
Do you
things.
know what I watched on the plane over it? I watched Line of Duty, and it was like,
Yeah.
Didn't-
Had you
I
never seen it before?
Didn't know it was set in Belfast. I think, did they just drive past Benedict's? Belfast? What?
Well,
Is that KFC?
That's the thing. It's like, it's not like the way they travel in it doesn't make sense. Just because like, they might be like doing a scene driving down this street, and then when they turn, it's a different street.
Yeah.
Because like the audience doesn't need it, but people from here are like my dad couldn't get past that if you go left at Royal Avenue, it doesn't bring you to the Newton Road. You know what I mean? He's like, no. I can't. He won't. He will make that not let him enjoy the show.
I didn't realise I was sitting on the plane.
Did you start at the start?
No, I started to see at 5. Literally the last. I thought, but when I clicked it, I thought it was season 1, episode 1, but it was season 5, episode 1. So I've just seen the last.
I can imagine if you were watching a film, you could like go and do something during the film for like 10-15 minutes, make a phone call,
Yeah.
cup of tea or whatever, come back in. But I don't think you would
I
rewind the
don't
film.
have the patience for movies or like to sit for that long because I want to do something else.
See, then the danger is you turn to whoever you're watching it with and go, "What's happened here?"
I do that.
And then when they explain what it is,
Yeah.
they're missing.
So Isabella, she loves Avengers, and I actually really like Avengers. We've been watching all the Avenger movies,
Yeah.
and I am constantly asking her, "Who's that? What happened?" And she's like,
Yeah, yeah,
Mom.
yeah.
But that's exactly what I do to her because the Avenger movies are like 15 hours long. It's like,
With like training camp stuff, what do you like in your own company? Like, you okay with just? Well, you're not. You're probably surrounded by a big team.
well, I have a team like when I go training, but I am actually on my own a lot, and I actually like my own company
Yeah.
and going to my house and have Isabella like. But my family, my house is like an open house. My family around all the time, but I isolate myself a lot when I'm in fight camp, just because I don't have the energy to be like, and I'm not probably very nice. I'm very like grumpy and like irritable in
Yeah.
training camp, like really bad, like like I can be really rude.
Would you consider, like, say you did have like a big SSE show or Windsor or something? Would you consider just spending a week on Castle Street,
Really getting that energy.
just standing? Like, you would have
Yeah.
enough. Like,
I could do my
sparring.
fight camp in Castle Street.
I would. That would be so great.
Just like dander down. Who's gonna attack me next?
Yeah. What did you do to prepare for this fight? Just sat outside a bakery on Castle Street, sparring every day, rolling with people. Yeah,
To be fair, I seen one recently. I think it was 3 girls, and one of their groundwork was quite good.
Right.
Like, they definitely had watched MMA before.
Yeah.
Like one was mount and one was like postured up. Like now they're developing. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I love that.
like species develop. They're like getting,
Yeah.
might get a high level soon.
Have a cock girl with them as well, doing that kind of thing. I could see me getting involved in that sort of thing on the fight side of things. You know, the people who Vaseline the eyebrows?
Yeah.
I could
So
definitely
like
do
you're
that.
involved, but you're not in the actual danger.
Yeah, like I'm in the corner, but I'm just like there for like a bit
Yeah.
of crack or something.
It's like I was over with Chantel, and obviously I'm not a boxer and wasn't doing her corner for any other reason but to hold her belt. I was like, felt it was so important. I
I'd
was,
like to do that.
holding the belt.
Yeah, I'd like to do
look
that.
at me. I'm not saying anything to help, but
But I just keep a straight face
yeah,
the whole time.
eyeball the opponent.
Like a wee stick coming out of my mouth, you know, like a toothpick. And I just try and get in the head of the opponent. I would love that's what I could bring to it.
Yeah.
You're fighting, I'm in your corner, and I'm just saying wee things now and
Just
again to your
shouting
opponent.
things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like yes, my corner always do that. They always shout like insulting things about my opponent to me. She's too slow, Leah. You can hear it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my word, if that was me, I'd be getting so annoyed. if
Yeah.
that was her.
But I just say wee things that would really make them think and get in their heads. I'd say wee things like, is one of your eyes higher than the other one? And they never would have thought that before, but they'd spend the whole fight going, oh fuck, is one of my eyes higher than the other? You know, that's what I
It's a
bring
really
to
good
it.
tactic, yeah.
That's what I bring to it. Leah, cheers for doing the podcast.
Anytime.
I appreciate it. It's my birthday today.
Is it really?
Well, the day the podcast comes out, so tomorrow
Oh,
is my
okay.
birthday.
Happy
still,
birthday.
Yeah. 33.
Woo.
33. I don't look it.
Congratulations for making it to this
I don't look
age.
it.
You don't look it?
I don't
You
look it.
it?
I don't look
You look
it.
way younger.
Yeah. 33 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You bring anything?
It's in the car. I have to run out.
Sweet. Cheers, Leah. Thank you very much.